a bold statement. More has changed in sales over the past 20 years than changed in the 1,000 years that came before it. Crazy, right? But it's true, and it's especially true when you look at the modern B2B buyer's journey. So, what is the big deal? What's so different today than just a few decades, heck, even a few years ago? And what are the 3 takeaways that you need to build your sales process if you even hope to survive this shifting buyer's journey? We're going to cover all of that in this video. Hi, my name is Will and I make selling simple. So today we're going to take a deep dive into what we call the buyer's journey, and most importantly, what that means for you as a salesperson who wants to get deals done and money in their pocket. First, we're going to look at how the buyer's journey has changed. Then we're going to look at the impact of this, of how to deal with a longer sales cycle, the shifting importance of content, and a now essential selling tool that you've got to have, otherwise you're never going to get deals done. So let's hit it. Let's start by looking at how the buyer's journey has changed over the past few months, years, decades. Now, as any sales rep who has closed anything recently knows, understanding your buyer's unique buying journey is often the key to selling successfully. As Wistia's VP of Sales and Customer Service, Pete von Burchard, told me in a recent Salesman podcast interview.
Customer success is really understanding the journey that the customer is on and the problem that you're solving as a solution, and sort of finding a way to align yourself as a company with getting those customers to achieve that end. So for us, we talked about a little bit how we attack that, but I think it's really about kind of aligning the business and the solution with the goals of the customer and helping execute on that.
Now, in the good old days, the buyer's journey started with you giving them materials and educating them on the problem that they had. And at this point, you're in control of the sales process. You'd start to build rapport, explain the various solutions, differentiate your product from the competitors, and because the buyer had to come to you to get information, you're more likely than not going to close the sale. But in the past 20 years or so, that's changed considerably. It's changed, frankly, dramatically. Today, sales reps are way less involved along the way of the buyer's journey. A recent study from McKinsey found that up to 80% of B2B decision makers prefer digital and, importantly for us, self-service models versus the traditional way that sales has typically been done. Buyers now expect to be able to access tons of educational content, videos, white papers, training, whatever it is, themselves without the help of you, the sales rep. On top of all of this, sales cycles are getting longer, deals are getting more complex, and more decision makers are involved in the same deals than ever before. These are some pretty big changes, I know. So that leads us to the question, how do you navigate all of this? So first off, you need to know how to deal with a longer sales cycle. And for some context here, a recent report from Demand Gen found that nearly 60% of buyers say that the decision-making process has become longer over the past year. Plus, Gartner found that on average, it takes input from 6 to 10 decision makers to settle on a B2B purchase. And that means from you and your side of things and my side of things, as I'm selling our training and everything that we do, it means more emails, more product demos, more sales calls, more nurturing across the sales cycle to get a deal done. Now, there are ways to speed up this process, like spending extra time qualifying your prospects at the top of the process, making sure that you're selling to the authority figure, or what we call the champion within the account, and relying more heavily on referrals as well. But in general, maybe you've just got to get used to dealing with a longer sales cycle and make sure that the deal size that you're doing warrants the length of time that it's going to take to get the deal done. But practically, how do we face this in the market, right? Well, the first thing you can do is think about your sales cadence. So if your buyers need more time to make decisions, that's okay, fine. You're just going to make sure that you're keeping them engaged and answering all the questions along the way. That means developing automated, to the best we can, sales cadences that share industry insights, facilitate free and open communication with our prospects, with the champions within the account. And this will ensure that when they are ready to talk, when they're ready to move forward, we're the first person that they think of. We're the company, the individual that they want to move forward with. So start putting a few more steps in your sales cadences and appreciate that they've got to be longer than what they had to be in the past. Now, takeaway number 2 is about the shifting importance of strategic content in the B2B buying process. And this is what we excel at, right, over at salesman.com. We get so many leads driven from content like this, like we're creating for you today. And quite frankly, in the world that we live in right now, the salesperson who has the best B2B content is often king.
He's my king, from this day until his last day.
The king in the north! The king in the north! The king in the north!
Research from Focus Vision found that B2B buyers now consume at least 13 pieces of content before they make a buying decision. That's why it's so important for you, the sales rep, to make the shift to both creating and curating across your company and the marketplace and the industry that you work in, customer-focused content at every stage of your buyer's journey. Doing so positions you as a thought leader, as an expert. It builds trust at scale because you can share the same piece of content over and over and over again. And if you're putting this content out on LinkedIn, social media, wherever it is, at conferences, if you're speaking on stage, however you're going about doing it, this will act as an entry point into your selling funnel for buyers who are trying to educate themselves. Sales expert and my man Victor Antonio shared this on a recent episode of the Salesman podcast.
The majority of executives don't want to talk to a salesperson. They simply don't. They don't trust them. They don't want to talk to them. They want to do the whole customer journey by themselves, whether it's simple or complex. They want to do it. And then when I'm ready, I'll reach out to you. Well, how do I reach out to this? Well, this is the guy that got contact. He seems to know what he's talking about. I'm going to go call Will.
Okay, again, let's get practical. Let's say that you buy into this idea that content is important. How do you start making it? Well, my advice is to put in a little bit of time to do some deep dives. Do some buyer interviews. Understand what's causing your prospects real pain, and not just in the sales cliche way that we say pain points. What's really a massive issue for your buyers right now in the moment? It doesn't have to be completely related to your product. Understand the mechanics of this problem, but make sure that there's other options there that you can give to them if you're not a good fit to work with them at this moment in time. Document it down, share it in short LinkedIn posts, videos, emails, whatever it is. You can create content and send it as part of your cold email cadence. It can be a Loom video. It doesn't have to be as sophisticated as what we do in the studio, and there's a teleprompter and cameras and a microphone up here and the phone that isn't actually plugged into anything. It's just a prop, all this kind of stuff. You don't need to go that far. Just your phone, the selfie video is often enough to break through the noise, educate your buyer, and set yourself up as the expert that they want to do business with. On top of that, use past customer data like surveys or testimonials, and again, interview your current customers on what topics and pain points that they think you should cover to close more business with their peers and their colleagues. And as I mentioned earlier on, use customer interviews to better understand what pain points that they have so that you can create content that's very specific to your target audience. The more that your content resonates, not the longer it is, not the more flashy it is, the more that your content resonates, the more you're going to be able to break through the noise and be seen as an expert in your space. And the third thing that I want you to take away from this video is that there's one sales tool that you need now more than ever. This is not this is not news to a lot of you watching this, but so many salespeople come into Salesman.com Academy without a solid CRM system. Now, see, in the old world, you could use a spreadsheet. You even knew what content your buyer was consuming and what stage of the buyer journey they were in because you gave them the content and educated them on what step they were at and what they needed to do next. But with so much research and engagement happening before you even speak to a prospect now, you need to know how your buyers interacted with content with the marketplace before you even got in front of them. That's where a modern, effective CRM comes in. With the right customer relationship management tool, you can have a complete record of what content the prospect has already consumed on your website, your marketing materials that they've been through, and what point they are in within the buyer's journey. On top of that, you're going to get lead scoring information that's going to tell you when you should reach out to them. You're going to get buyer background data to help you refine your ideal customer persona over and over again until it's just super spot on and specific. And your CRM is going to give you automation tools so you can do more outreach and do it much quicker and easier as well. With the right CRM on your side, you can knock out as much work as a whole sales team of 10, 20, 30 reps could have done just a handful of years ago. And just a few words here on the practicality side of things. CRM, of course, from the company's perspective, is an investment. There's the money factor, but CRMs are more affordable than ever before. HubSpot, the long-term partner of Salesman.com, everything that we do, the podcast, the content, the training, they have a free plan, and many people can survive on that alone. So if you don't have a CRM right now, head over to HubSpot.com and get signed up. The only other thing you've got to factor into the commitments to using a CRM is that a CRM uses data, right? It leverages data, and it's only ever going to be as effective as the data you insert into it. With bad data, you might as well throw away the entire purpose of using the tool in the first place. That's why you've got to be sure that you're putting in the effort to record the data that you need to make the decisions, or to help the CRM enable you to make these decisions timely and with enough detail that it actually is effective. My friend Daniel Disney also pointed this out on a recent podcast.
And the biggest trap that sales teams fall into with CRMs is you reap what you sow. And what a lot of salespeople don't do is they don't put into the CRM what they need to get the best out of it. And it's the same with Navigator.
So as we covered, the buyer's journey is changing, and it's changing fast. Sales cycles are getting longer, deals are getting more increasingly complex over time. There's more decision makers involved now than ever before, and prospects are making 80 to 90% of their buyer's journey. They're doing all that traveling alone without a salesperson to lead them, nudge them, influence them one way or another. And in this brave new world of sales, it's truly sink or swim. So how are you going to come out ahead? You need to develop sales cadences that accommodate a much longer sales cycle. You've got to keep your leads engaged. You've got to nurture them with valuable content. Hopefully you're creating some of it as well. And you've got to recognize it might take tens of touch points with up to 10 decision makers before a deal gets through. Now this sounds like a lot of hard work, but remember this, right? And this is exciting. A lot of your competitors aren't going to do this. A lot of your competitors aren't watching videos and doing training like you're doing right now. You only have to be 1% better than your competitors to take all of the business in the marketplace. Number 2, you need to focus on ultra strategic content. Take deep dives rather than superficial surface layer comments and insights into your buyers' pain points. Share it digitally. Build up an audience. And third, of course, invest in a CRM. Either you do it with your own money, or HubSpot has a free version, which we covered earlier on, or get your company to invest. Tell them that they just have to if they want to have any success in the modern B2B space. And if you do all of that, you're going to be miles and miles ahead of the competition as the buyer's journey keeps on evolving and changing all the time. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not click the video that's on the screen right now and continue making selling simple.